We're speaking with Meron Estefanos. Meron is a human rights activist who has been supporting Eritrean refugees for a couple of years now. Many of the Eritrean refugees are being captured by gangsters for ransom. She's supporting them and buying them free, basically, and pays them in Bitcoin. So Meron, please tell us a little bit about your work, what you did. I think you worked a lot in supporting refugees and you used Bitcoin for that. Why did you do that and how did that help?
I was dealing with refugees. I've been a human rights activist for 22 years almost. Somehow, I was doing radio broadcasting into Eritrea via satellite and shortwave. So my phone number became a hotline for refugees. So refugees start calling me from all over the world, like when they are kidnapped for ransom. So I was shocked to hear like people were getting kidnapped while fleeing from their countries and being extorted for $33,000 minimum per person. And we Eritreans were very poor, the poorest in Africa actually. So when I start interviewing the kidnappee, the hostages, it just, I was so touched and I decided, like, it became like my lifetime work kind of thing. So I decided to go ahead and at first, I was contacting US State Department, European Parliament, European Commission, Amnesty, Human Rights, all these big NGOs and governments saying this is happening to African refugees, can we stop this? And nobody cared. So in 3 weeks' time, of the 28 people that I interviewed, 5 died because of the torture. So for me, it became like, I have to do something. So I start raising funds to pay ransom. Mm-hmm. And so the more I paid ransom, I don't know, millions of dollars I paid in ransom. And it was easy to raise money. Like in one day, I could raise up to $200,000 just using our community. But the problem was the kidnappers, they want the money within an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. And it's always hard because Western Union, 4,500 max, and then you have to give, why are you sending this much money? Mm-hmm. And MoneyGram, I cannot use it, they ban me. Uh-huh. Banks, you can't. Yeah. So an 18-year-old guy died because I couldn't make the payment in an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. And that was like something, the saddest thing, and it's something that touches me most because I had the money, but how do you transfer $33,000 to Egypt in an hour and a half? Yeah. It was not possible, and so they sent me a text and they said use the money to his funeral. And yeah, so that's when I realized getting money is easy, but transferring is a hard part. So Alex Gladstein, he always used to, but since 2013, he always spoke about the blockchain technology, how great it is for activists and things like that. It never made sense to me because I didn't see how it can help me. But then one time, like HRF did activist workshop, Bitcoin workshop for activists, and I said, okay, Alex invited me. I'm like, okay, let me go and hear what it is about. So the workshop was organized really amazingly because they had Venezuelans that were telling their stories, why they use Bitcoin and how it helped them. So I didn't even finish, the first speakers was a Venezuelans, maybe 15 minutes. I was already sold. I'm like, this is what I need. Mm-hmm. Because it was like so clear to me. For me, Bitcoin was like, I thought it's something used in the West. I didn't think that it can be used in Africa or elsewhere. So now, when someone wants to pay ransom, I don't train the traffickers, but I trained my people to receive the money and then make the payment within less than half an hour.
And the traffickers accept Bitcoin?
No, really.
No? How does it work
I
then?
send it, if the people kidnapped, the hostages are in Sudan, mm-hmm. I'll send it to my people in Sudan that I've already trained. Okay. And they cash it out, mm-hmm. and then they make the payment whichever way the traffickers want it. All so right. I would never teach the traffickers, of course.
But, of course, yeah.
Yeah, but it's helping life, at least now. Mm-hmm. When there is a ransom that we have to pay within an hour or an hour and a half, we can get it in minutes.
Wow, yeah. And that makes a difference, a big, big difference. Yeah. It's Bitcoin is saving lives.
Exactly. So for that part, like for me, it became clear. And as an activist also, a lot of countries, they consider me like an enemy. Mm-hmm. Because when you're talking about refugees, you're criticizing governments.
Yes.
So if a refugee is abusing Kenya, I'll talk about refugees in Kenya. Mm-hmm. And then the Kenyan government will look at me like I'm an enemy.
Of course.
So I'm considered enemy in many countries. So for this reason, I decided now I just start, the people that work with me, like in Ethiopia, I have many researchers. So like whenever I have a research work, I like hiring Africans to give them a chance. It used to be difficult because if I'm sending with my name, so they're associated to me and their life can be in danger. So in Ethiopia, like everyone that was in touch with me were getting arrested. Like a lot of people, about 259 people got arrested just because we used to call each other. These are refugees that contacted me and things. So anyone that made a call to my number or received a call from my number was getting arrested. So my fear was, how do I pay my researchers? So Bitcoin became a solution. So I trained them. At that time, Paxful was totally, you didn't need an ID or anything. So they were using Paxful to check, like I will send it to their Paxful account and they can get it in Birr, in Ethiopian Birr, or keep it in Bitcoin. So it became like a great solution. And since then, like I've been using Bitcoin for everything.
Super great.
Yeah, well, I got inspired by all of you guys. Yeah.
So from that experience with Bitcoin, I mean, you have first-hand experience how it can help people here. And then you also thought this knowledge should get into the hands of more people. And you
Especially
founded...
refugees, yeah.
Especially, yeah, you had an idea.
Yeah, being as a refugee advocate, the hardest part, one thing I notice is like when refugees flee their countries, they don't have ID or anything. So they depend on remittance. And the problem is they don't have bank accounts. They cannot accept anything but Hawala, and the Hawala is like they take 10% from the sender and 10% from the receiver. So they're losing $20. You send 110, they receive 90. And so I saw this as an opportunity for refugees as well, and start teaching them on how they can receive. And these refugees are amazing because now they're teaching their relatives, don't send me by Hawala. And so they're actually orange peeling their loved ones that live in the West. They've lived all their life in the West but have no clue about Bitcoin. But thanks to these refugees, they're forcing their loved ones, nope, don't send me by Hawala, I need this. And it's great.
Hello, my name is Anita Posch, and if you liked that video, please subscribe to my channel now to inspire me to create more content like this. And if you want to learn more about Bitcoin, then sign up for my free weekly Bitcoin newsletter at anita.link/news.